Check this out.
Chevy's Blazer does everything well, according to the editors of Motor Trend magazine. Available. Power front disc brakes are standard. And Blazer's a tough companion to get you out where the trout are biting, or where the kids are playing. Chevrolet, building a better way to see the USA.
An LS under the hood, 6.2 liters, 500 horsepower, 4L80E, 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission.
Well, if there was a theme at this auction, it's absolutely got to be Broncos and Blazers and Jimmys. Oh my! $400,000.
So we got back from Bear Jackson and we are excited about Blazers. I'm sure you are too. We've had one that's been sitting around for a long, long time, and it's actually time to get it done. Last week we took it to get sandblasted. We're about ready to paint the bottom side of it, so hopefully by the end of the week we can paint the bottom that goes to the chassis, paint this top part, and then we'll prep the chassis, put a small lift kit in it. That should be a really cool truck. Another project we're getting started on. Who doesn't love a Blazer? Calvin, what are you doing?
We are getting ready to pull the body off the frame so it can go on a rotisserie. Once it gets on the rotisserie, it's going to get blasted inside and underneath. Bodywork's already done, so that's about all it needs before you can start putting paint on it.
Wicked. And as you can see, we got the cross bracing here. That helps it not fall apart when you hang it from the front and the back. Pretty nice shape. So we got a little ahead of ourselves and we actually did the body work to the whole truck while it was assembled. And now we're taking it to sandblasting. So that's, by the way, doing the steps in the wrong order. So we're trying to save all the body work by putting duct tape on it. Sandblast will hit that and bounce off. And hopefully we don't have a whole bunch of this sticky duct tape glue to take off after, but I doubt we'll get that lucky. No, she's good. Stay in the middle if you can. That'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. We gotta push it forward here. Good job, David.
Okay. Can't go back.
question that a lot of people don't understand or probably just don't know is rust repair is the hardest and the most painstaking part. We were lucky to have a fairly rust-free truck, but even after sandblasting, we had to make some small repairs, and you can see that the surface is kind of rough. Well, to get a nice paint job onto that, we're gonna have to really smooth it out. You can actually hear it here. You can hear that it's really rough. So all of this has to be prepared to a point where it's near perfect, because this thing doesn't have carpets. It's not really going to have anything but the shiny floor to speak of. So every one of these little angles has to be sanded, has to be made right. We're fixing small dents in it, and away we go. The booth lighting always brings out the worst in everything. So we got a couple little touch-ups to do. And the same thing I was telling you guys before, I'm at 320 on the bare metal. We're gonna use 1.5 coats of sealer, and by that I mean we're gonna put a light coat down. And a lot of times when you're putting the first coat down, you'll miss a spot or two. And then we'll put a nice coat of sealer on this. 3 coats of base coat, some clear coat. Yeah, we got a few more hours of work ahead of us, but it's time to paint this thing. We're getting really close to making it green. Because we don't know if it's going to have carpet or not yet. It is an off-road rig. I want to make sure the high traffic areas have got a little texture, more like a box liner. Area just a lot more rugged.
Not just that, it probably is more durable and less prone to dents and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we're really trying to toughen it up just a little bit, like a box liner. to this surface. Okay, so the floor needs 2 coats, so do the floor. You don't need to do anything else. The wheel well tubs and the floor need 2 coats, so do them. Little wetter. Just a little wetter, because you've got lots of reducer in it, right? No, that's good. Yeah, let me just have a look here. God, I feel as though it should be wetter. Hold on to this for a sec. There. See how much flatter that looks? Yeah. Gotta move a little faster. But it makes smaller droplets, which I think is good. We want this to look nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that's looking good. You're moving too fast. There you go. So the reason I told him he was moving too fast is because the paint was going on a little dry. This is base coat, but what happens is a metallic base coat needs to go on a little wetter than regular base coat so that the metallics go to the bottom and then float back up evenly. If you put it on too dry, you're going to get tiger striping. That is with new paints. The old school way was to put it on super dry and the metallics would fall on top of the paint job. Now the way they've designed paint, especially waterborne, you want to put it on wet enough that the metallics go down to the bottom and float back up. So that's what we're having right now. We're teaching Dave how to paint. It's kind of fun. It's looking good, Dave. Look at that. That is good looking. Now, okay, David, so what I want you to do is same 50% overlap. This product is a little thick, so I want you to slow down a little bit from what you would think. And to figure out if you're spraying it right and your timing is right, I want you to look as you're traveling about 10 inches behind the gun. What happens is if you look at what it's doing, it's all foggy. So you got to actually make a movement and track it right about here. So when you see me put my head across, I'm trying to figure out how it's laying down. There you go. Just a touch slower. Yeah, you're going too far. I stopped right here. And look behind, not at what you're doing. It's a little tricky, but you have to. Yep, that's looking nice. So I got Dave mixing up some more clear, because if you look here, no, it's not quite ready there, but it's really close. The way to tell if your paint is ready for another coat, we'll try it here. Yeah, see how I'm hardly fingerprinting? If it's not ready, it'll string like this one. So the minute there's no more strings, it's time to get another coat on now. Otherwise, you won't be able to melt that first coat and really flow it out. Okay, before you continue, did you notice there you got tripped up?
Yeah, I need the base.
So what you have to do is sort of keep your body in one position when you're starting out, or even when you're advanced into this, because if you sort of do too many movements, that always relates to your wrist or your hand, right? So now you got a chance of putting a run in that one spot. So what you got to do is you got to think your way through it and say, okay, what is it I can manage? Make sure you're well planted before you even get going, because you're going to be reaching, right? So here you're reaching over, and watch, that's about as far as I can get. So that's what I do. And now I'm thinking, I'll drop a knee, drop two knees, but I'm only gonna do this panel. So the big thing for you guys at home that you could learn, like Dave's learning right now, and it's something we never talk about. We talk about reducers, temperatures, air pressures in the paint guns, different paint gun tips. We talk about the mechanics of painting, but we never talk about the strategy. And I think the strategy is more important than anything. So David, on this is actually a really complex paint job here, because there's all sorts of different angles we have to get nice. So what are we doing right now? What are the pieces that we want to look the nicest?
At least the first 3 feet of the floor.
Yeah.
The front and back, because it's exposed.
Right.
Middle, not so much. There's a seat in the way.
Right.
And we really want the tubs to look really nice here.
Okay, so I was leading him into that, and here's the deal. We have all these areas to cover with paint, but they get an actual upholstery covering. So even though this job is super complex, we got to break it down, and that's the strategy. So our strategy is going to be to paint all these areas first, and then save the ones we want really nice for last. So we're going to top coat these last. So we got one more coat of clear, and we want to get it right. If that didn't make any sense, I'll explain to you if you're using a rattle can at home. So let's say you're painting a table at home. If you paint the top of the table first, and then you spray the legs, all the dry spray from the legs is going to land on top of the table, right? So instead of doing that, you paint the legs first, and then the tabletop, which you want to look really nice, is what you do last with your spray can. Same thing applies here. So strategy when you're painting. I think it's really, really important, and it's one of those things you got to think your way through before you actually get paint in the gun and just start spraying all over the place, because that's how you make mistakes. If you want more creative strategies like that, and you want to see how we build $1 million cars, then stick with us, sign up to Killer Kustoms, because we'll show you some of this stuff, and it's free advice, and it's advice that took us years and decades to learn, and we'll just pass it right on to you. It'll help you at home on your own projects, and it'll help you just do a better job. That's all we can tell you. So sign up and subscribe, ring the bell, whatever that thing is. Okay, so let's get at it. With the stuff we want to look nice, we do last, so there's not a bunch of overspray on top of it. So what I'm going to add for you guys, so you know, is that if you leave the stuff in a really complex paint project like this, if you leave the stuff that's really important, needs to look nice till last, then if you're double coating onto the surface that is not good, if that makes any sense. So if we've got this wheel well house that needs to look really nice, we happen to put a little extra clear coat on the other spot that isn't important, that's better. If we had done it first, and then we're trying to get on the insides, moving around like this, we actually accidentally double coat an area, it's going to drip down the wheel well. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to try to explain it one more time. If we do those flat areas that are going to be covered, and we save the wheel well to last, if we get extra product, it'll be on the areas that are covered, rather than doing it the opposite way, where we would do the really nice areas that we want nice first, and then when we top coat the other ones, we accidentally get a little extra product, it'll run down those wheel wells. So we want to do them last.
Keep going.
You gotta keep moving, because the thing's hot now.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Looks really good now. There you go.
Getting your openings done, right? Okay, so I would do there's a spot that's been missed, that's what he's looking for right now, is to touch that up. We're not touching any of these surfaces again. That's important for strategy is when you got a big panel that you want to do, you don't want to leave a dry spot in the middle of it. So I went and got his paint to keep him up. He should have known that by the feel of the gun, but he's still young at this. So we're going to top up his gun before he does the floor. Quick, top up the gun. That should have been done before we started top coating the really nice areas, but of course everybody's learning at the same time here. Make sure the lid's on good. Hurry up! You gotta melt it in. The key is to melt in the clear coat into the other stuff that's drying right now, right? I don't like what he's doing there. Big mistake. Stop here, and now he's stopping here. Keep stopping here, but we gotta get it all, it's all gotta line up, otherwise he's gonna have a really fat run right there. Backside. I do get a little worked up here, but it's very important to melt all the clear together so that you have a nice uniform surface. Okay, one last thing, we're gonna really cheat. Did you bring the wrench?
Yep.
Get on that side of the thing. Remember we talked strategy? It's about winning. Pull on that fucker. We happen to have a rotisserie, so we're gonna let this stuff melt horizontal, just like that. dishes. Do your dishes. All right, that's gonna look really good. Straight to the hoist. We got the wheels figured out. How are you doing?
You're good.
On both sides. Okay, push it over. All right, David. Apprentice David.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. So tell us about this. Why have you spent so much time painting sections of this truck?
What? Say that again?
Why? Why have you spent so much time painting separate sections of this truck?
Because I want to make sure everything's nice and flat the way it should be. And especially the important areas. So I'm just really taking my time to make sure I can take a step back, look. If I see anything that's wrong, it's a good time to deal with it now before we have base on it.
I think when you guys are watching this video, what you're going to get out of it is we just keep painting this thing. Why didn't we do it all at once? The explanation for that is it was on a rotisserie. The rotisserie was into the firewall, so we couldn't paint the firewall at the same time as the bottom. Then we had to do the inside, but we wanted the inside really nice, so we had to do it separate from this section. So it just kind of went on and on and on. We could have done it 2 steps quicker, but we wanted it super, super nice. And that is what we talked about the other day. Strategy. So painting strategy. So to have it deadly nice, we had to do it in different chunks. And here we are again. All right, get some color on it. Come on! So the cameras aren't always rolling when we do the most amateur stuff, but it was a little nib on the dash. And I put my finger right in it, so that caused one little problem to be like a big thumb size problem, and I thought I'd fix that by wiping it with my fingers and created a big streak. So we're waiting for primer to dry, and Dave's sanding it. What I can give you for a tip though, at this point in the game, is you should always wet sand, because it helps cool the surface and allows it to be flat. So we're gonna have a little look here and see how David's making up. Is the camera gonna pick up on my mess there?
Oh yeah, you can see a lot of mess.
Oh.
Yeah,
So now we're gonna give you one more tip. We're gonna sprinkle that with some dry spray and hopefully make it go away. Yeah, fire up the loose.
Rob just finished spraying with this. That's funny.
I'm only doing a kind of a small spray just so I don't get it everywhere. Okay, there's one. Now we gotta wait for paint to dry.
Have you guys had to put air on the side by
Again,
side tires at all?
don't put your thumb or your fingers in your wet paint job. How's that looking?
Looking way better.
All right. And now just because we're perfectionists and we can't leave well enough alone,
wait for that to dry. Little air. We're going to do one more little shot. And for those of you that don't know, you should always blow air across your panel, not into the panel, across the panel. It helps lift the solvents away rather than fight them. One more sprinkling and I think we got it. Oh yeah, we're gonna like that one. Okay? Put some color in it. Favorite apprentice, I'm trying to teach him, but you put the paint on really dry, which makes it stand up. You see all these little points sticking up? That means he put the sealer on too dry. So I'm trying to knock the tops off of it, so there's a hope in hell of making it flat again. That is the tricky balance between putting paint on dry and having it not run, and too wet and having it run. So we're not going to beat him up too bad, we're just going to help him get through it. Let me do the same here. You want proof why it's the sealer? Come look. It's little blobs of sealer sticking through. Like a Dalmatian. Okay, so the next thing you're going to run into is if you don't blow all this water off, it's going to get underneath your next base coat. So you really want to make sure that you've actually blown it off and dried it off. So try not to put water past this line. It'll get caught there and it'll sprinkle at you and it'll close off at the opportune time. Come at you when it's clear coat. Nice to do the other side too. A little bit. You do it to this level, it'll be really, really nice when you're done. So, until you're right at the clear coat stage, you still can fix your mistakes. Gosh, we're learning a lot of lessons with this truck and using apprentices, aren't we? The paint felt dry enough, and we used wet sanding paper. Kind of float the problems. If you look really close here, you'll see what we have. That show it. Basically, the sealer went on super dry, so it stood up. We spent all day trying to sand down the sandblast that was standing up, so we could get a nice flat finish. Now we're doing the same thing again. One of my English buddies, they used to work on cars, used to call this flatting. We called it sanding in North America. We called it flatting. Dry flatting, wet flatting. Makes sense, you're actually flattening the surface. Producers or directors love it when shit goes wrong, so you have to be there to video.
try real quick to see if we can save this drop. Get that. So what I'm trying to do is actually physically melt down those little things. That's gonna do it. So the idea there is there was little bumps sticking up from it being too dry, and I put a very wet coat on that surface. I'm hoping it melts it down and just kind of fills it and melts it down. Yeah, so you can still see the bumps there. There they are. We're hoping to fill those with the next few coats now. It's not a perfect science. You guys will figure it out. Giver. Little wetter. Okay, that's about right. Can you feel the difference? Okay. And if you heavy coat the areas that you don't only want to do once, heavy coat them, it'll be like 1.5 coats. And then you want to do 2 really nice coats on the good stuff. Fuck yeah, David.
Trying to read instructions to figure out where these body mounts go. Very interesting. Like this.
Like this.
Okay, well that's not gonna work. Here's 5, 6. This and like this. Okay. 3 to 6. 3. 5 to 6. Okay. Putting this completely together, look at that, that all falls apart. So some of this is going to have to wait until we've got the body.
Okay, let's go. Move that back up here. You gonna make it? Yeah.
All right. I need one guy in the front, one guy in the back checking them out. Bring the ball print Penny?
Yes.
All right. There it is, the first 10 days of progress. I couldn't be happier. The color that we mixed up for it is really cool. It looks factory, but a little bit better. The finish on it is absolutely perfect for this job. Next, we're gonna have to tackle putting an LS in it, doing the brake system, bolting the body down. We still got lots of work to do. We'll take you with us. And if you like the content, and we do thank you for watching, if you have friends that you think will like the content, share it with them. See if we can get some more subscribers. We are working really, really hard to create this content. Teresa's got a big job on her hands putting it all together. I think she's doing a wonderful job. So if you like it, give us a thumbs up or whatever that happens. Thanks.
Practical. Fun to drive. Blazer. Blazer, the extra value personal car truck that takes you anywhere you want to go. Here's Blazer with a competitive unit. Even though Blazer has a longer wheelbase than this other vehicle, Blazer turns in almost the same space. But the other four-wheel drive unit can't match the stability and dig-in traction of Blazer's wider stance and tapered leaf springs. Blazer has full-size truck components, unlike other vehicles in its class. Full-size truck components that can withstand even this terrific wrenching force where an off-the-road obstacle lifts one wheel completely off the ground. Nationwide Consumer Testing Institute authenticates Blazer's unusual stamina, strength, and power in direct comparison with a competitive make unit, while both vehicles are under full throttle. When properly equipped, Blazer can tow a 5,500-pound trailer, compared to the heaviest trailer this other vehicle can tow, only 2,500 pounds. And Blazer pulls out in front, hauling 3,000 pounds more than the other unit. Like all units built with Chevrolet truck components, Blazer is totally tougher, built stronger to last longer, providing a heavier-duty frame, stronger, more durable springs, heavier-duty axles, larger, higher-capacity engines with heavier-duty clutches, steel wire-wrapped rear brake lines, and aluminized exhaust system for high resistance to corrosion. Now, add to all this sturdiness Blazer's greater interior space for both cargo and passengers compared to other vehicles of its type. Don Edgar of Camping and Trailering Guide says, Blazer is the best all-around family camping vehicle. Its advantage is in its size. The additional room provides space for tents, sleeping bags, water coolers, ice chests, gasoline stoves and lanterns, and all the other necessities for backwoods camping. Blazer gives you a full 9 inches more width for passenger seating. The back seat easily accommodates 3 lively teenagers, compared to the more limited seating capacity of this other vehicle. and Blazer gives you a full 10 inches more width in the cargo carrying area as compared to this competitive vehicle. Blazer gives you more inflation-beating value for your transportation dollar, with greater stability and traction, extra strength, extra space, and an extra margin of safety. Blazer is equipped with power-assisted front disc brakes for more dependable braking. Standard Blazer equipment at no extra cost compared to the front drum brakes of the other vehicle. As a matter of fact, for disc brakes, even as an option, both Blazer and this competitive make unit, as you can see, have had their brake assembly units completely immersed in water. Now, out of the stream. Both drivers slam on the brakes at the same instant for a road barrier. Blazer stops in time. Now let's authenticate our brake test at the proving ground with representatives of Nationwide Consumer Testing Institute, as the brake assemblies of Blazer and a competitive unit are immersed in a water trough. And both vehicles are then subjected to a panic stop under controlled conditions. Which vehicle would you rather be driving? Over the road or off the road? Blazer assures you finer performance, greater dependability, easier handling, super control. And you can tailor your Blazer exactly to your needs with a more complete selection of optional equipment than you'll find for any similar type vehicle. You can order your Blazer with automatic transmission and power steering, or 4-speed transmission, Chevrolet engineered Harrison built air conditioning, hardtop or convertible, 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. Plus the biggest V8 in its class, and a variety of extra heavy-duty trailer towing and off-the-road equipment, such as heavy-duty battery, heavy-duty alternator, heavy-duty springs, heavy-duty tires, larger maximum tires than are recommended for any other unit in Blazer's class. Blazer, for distinctively different, fun-to-drive, practical transportation, and for rugged, off-the-road, 4-wheel drive capability as a personal vehicle, or in heavy-duty commercial and utility applications. All Chevrolet 4-wheel drive units, the Chevrolet Suburban 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive Chevrolet pickup trucks, and the 4-wheel drive Blazer have the exclusive Chevrolet wide stance for dig-in traction and greater stability. Plus, Chevrolet's totally tougher components for more durable, dependable, high performance. And power-assisted front disc brakes for that extra margin of safety. Chevrolet trucks are built stronger to work harder, last longer. Over 55% of all 56 Chevy trucks are still on the job, and percentages for later model years prove Chevrolet trucks last longer. And Chevrolet trucks help you beat inflation with more value for your transportation dollar. Blazer. Tough. Practical. Fun to drive. Blazer, the extra value personal car truck that takes you where you want to go.